Okay, so let's dive into one of the most powerful ideas out there for making real, lasting changes in your life. We're going to break down how to build good habits that actually stick, and it's all based on James Clear's amazing book, Atomic Habits. You know the drill, right? We get super motivated, we set these huge goals, we're going to get fit, write a novel, learn a new language, and for that first week or two, we are absolutely on fire. But then, well, life happens. The motivation just kind of fizzles out, and before you know it, we're right back where we started. So what is going wrong here? Well, we tend to think that change has to be this massive, dramatic event. But that's not how it works. James Clear says it's all about the quiet power of compounding. Every tiny little choice you make, day in and day out, is either building you up or, kind of wearing you down. You don't see it at first, but trust me, over time, the difference is absolutely staggering. And get this, the math is just mind-blowing. If you can manage to get just 1% better each day for a single year, you will end up 37 times better than when you started. That's not just a small improvement, that is a complete and total transformation. And it's all built on these tiny atomic-level efforts. So that brings us to our first huge idea, a fundamental shift in how you think about all this. It's about moving away from what you want to achieve and focusing instead on the person you want to become. See, most of us, we set our goals based on outcomes. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to run a marathon. The problem with this approach is that you're basically only successful right at the very end, when you hit that milestone. It can make the whole journey feel like this temporary chore you have to suffer through to get a result. And here is the difference in action. I want to read more, that's a goal. But saying I am a reader, well, that's an identity. See, someone who is a reader just reads. It's what they do. The goal isn't just to finish one more book, it's to reinforce who they are. And believe me, that shift changes everything. This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. Every single time you choose to do a 2-minute workout, you are casting a vote for I am a healthy person. Every time you decide to read just one page, you're casting a vote for I am a reader. These little wins are literally building the proof, the evidence for your new identity. Okay, so if identity is the why, then how do we actually do it? That brings us to the really practical stuff, the framework. Clear gives us this incredibly simple but powerful model he calls the 4 laws of behavior change. So, turns out every single habit you have, the good, the bad, all of them, follows this exact 4-step loop inside your brain. It starts with a cue, that triggers a craving, which then motivates a response, and that response delivers a reward. So, if we want to build a good habit, all we have to do is engineer this loop to work for us. Law number 1 is all about the cue. Our environment is just packed with these little triggers that set off our automatic behaviors. So if you want to start a new habit, you have to make the cue for it impossible to miss. And on the flip side, if you want to break a bad habit, you make its cue completely disappear. So how do you make a cue totally obvious? It's simple. Don't just say you're going to do something. You've got to give your habit a specific time and a specific place. It's called an implementation intention. This little trick removes all the guesswork and makes it so much more likely that you'll actually follow through. Okay, on to the second law, which targets the craving. We're just naturally drawn to things that promise a reward or, and this is a big one, that help us fit in with our social group. So to build a good habit, you have to find a way to make it appealing. A great way to do this is to pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Or even better, join a group where your desired habit is just the normal thing to do. Now, for the third law, and honestly, this one might be the most important of all. It's all about the response. As human beings, we are just fundamentally wired to follow the path of least resistance. It's not about being lazy, it's about being efficient. So the easier a habit is, the more likely we are to do it. The goal isn't to be a hero, it's to be smart about it. So, you might be asking, how in the world do you make a new habit feel effortless? Well, this is where one of the most brilliant techniques in the whole book comes in. It's called the 2-minute rule, and I'm telling you, it is a complete game changer for beating procrastination. The idea couldn't be simpler. You take any habit you want to start, and you scale it down until it takes less than 2 minutes to do. So, read every day becomes read 1 page. Go to the gym becomes put on my workout clothes. The psychology behind this is just perfect. It lowers the barrier to entry so much that it's actually harder to say no than to just do it. You're not trying to conquer the world at first, you're just mastering the art of showing up. And finally, we have to close the loop with the reward. For a habit to really stick, your brain needs to feel an immediate hit of success. Now, the problem is, a lot of good habits have delayed rewards, right? So you've got to find a way to give yourself an immediate little win, like checking a box on a habit tracker, to make that behavior feel satisfying right away. So we've got the 4 laws to build a new habit. But how do we actually maintain it for the long haul? How do we make sure it doesn't just fizzle out after a few weeks? Well, this next part is all about your toolkit for consistency. This really goes back to that 3rd law of making it easy. You have to literally design your environment for success. If you lay out your workout clothes the night before, or you put your book right on your pillow, what you're doing is reducing the friction, the number of little steps between you and your good habit. You're making good choices the default, easy path. And this is such a crucial piece of advice. Look, life is going to happen. You're going to miss a day. It's inevitable. The key isn't perfection. It's about not letting one slip up turn into 2. Because missing once, that's an accident. But missing twice, that's the beginning of a brand new bad habit. So the rule is simple. Just get back on track immediately. Okay, so when we put all these pieces together, it brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this whole idea. This final part is about a total shift in focus, from chasing goals to building reliable systems. So here's what it all boils down to. Goals are great for setting a direction, but it's your systems, your habits, that actually make the progress. And to change your behavior for good, you've got to start by changing your identity. You have to stop relying on motivation and willpower. They're unreliable, and start designing your environment for success. Make every new habit start with something that takes less than 2 minutes. And above all else, remember that the real goal is just to keep showing up. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. After all of this, it all comes down to a single choice. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just have to find a way to get 1% better. So what's the one tiny 2-minute action you can take today to cast a vote for the person you want to become?